Get up in there. You got 2 hands. You get up in there.
What is
It's
this?
a human being. It's a human
What am I touching?
Get it. Oh.
I fuck 3 fucking girls a day. 3 girls a day. Do you believe that? Fuck yeah, you do. Look at my YouTube channel. I'm popular. I'm famous. And this doesn't come from ego. This is... because I'm unhappy. I have nothing that truly matters.
Yo, what's up, guys? 今天和大家聊聊 Conor Murphy 的故事。Conor Murphy 于1994年出生于美国德克萨斯州，在2015年，21岁的 Conor 开始创办自己的 YouTube 频道，但在这时候 ，Conor 频道的点击数量并不是很理想。2016年 ，Conor 参加了 NPC 男子健体杯赛，并取得了第3名的成绩。同年 ，Conor 在网络上发布自己身材转变的视频，并引起了广泛的关注。从此 ，Conor 便决定成为一名健身网红，并于其恶搞系列视频走红于网络。然而，在 Conor 走红之后，质疑声也随之而来，越来越多的网友开始质疑 Conor 恶搞视频的真实性。很多网友发现，在 Conor 的恶搞视频中出现的路人整蛊对象，也都是小有名气的网红。其中一位参与过 Conor 视频拍摄的女生 Lauren， 在自己的视频中讲述了和 Conor 一起拍视频的经历，并表示自己是通过邀请来参加 Conor 的视频拍摄，并非随机遇到的路人。然而 Conor 除了视频风格搞笑之外，健壮的身材也是他吸引粉丝的关键。但是在2018年，很多网友发现 Conor 的维度突然变小，并发现发际线也后退了很多。Conor 本人也对此做出回应。Conor 表示，造成他维度变小的第一点原因，就是在做视频拍摄之后，训练时间和强度也相对应减少。Conor 解释说，造成他维度变小的第2点原因便是拍摄角度，并表示用广角镜头进行拍摄，维度会看起来大很多。在之前的视频中 ，Conor 便是一直使用广角镜头。第3个导致 Conor 维度变小的原因，便是灯光、充血度和造型。Conor 表示，这3种外在因素会使拍摄者的身材看起来截然不同。在影片中 ，Conor 先是在海滩进行拍摄，之后又在健身房进行拍摄。对比2段视频，我们可以看到，所谓的 LPP 确实会对拍摄者的身材造成较大影响。最后 ，Conor 邀请了2个路人女生来拍摄改变 LPP 之后的身材对比。然而，很多网友对 Conor 的说法依旧持怀疑态度。有一位叫 Derek 的 YouTuber 表示 ，Conor 的维度变小，正是因为停止使用药物所导致，而并非 Conor 本人所说的因素。
In Conor's case, I think what happened was he started noticing hair loss, and I'm no stranger to hair loss. If you've seen some of my older videos, you'll know I'm prone to male pattern baldness, and I've been fighting it for years and years, and I've made several videos about it, and I've also covered niche topics in the hair loss subsection of anabolic steroids in particular, because obviously if you're exerting a super physiological amount of androgens in your body, you're just severely accelerating the process at which you're balding if you're genetically prone to it. So I made a lot of videos covering that, and I know it, pretty in depth. And what I'm just talking about, what I'm interpreting based on what's happened to this guy, and what I think is, you'll notice now he is receding. His hairline is getting a lot worse. It's getting thin at the front. It's starting to recede pretty heavily. And what I think was maybe not, I don't know if the original reason he came off of gear in the first place is because of the hair, or it was just time to cycle off and then he noticed the hair loss. But I think over his time on YouTube, he's progressively noticed increased amounts of his male pattern baldness accelerating, and it's gotten so bad to the point where he's been forced to cycle off because what he's taking is accelerating it. And now he's kind of in a really shitty situation because he has to keep making videos, and they're so centered around his physique, yet his physique is deteriorating because he has to come off. And obviously I can't prove he's come off or anything. This is just my educated guess based on my own experience with the stuff. But what I think is, he looked great at the start of his, YouTube channel. He's on whatever he's on. He starts noticing severe hair loss. He starts to tone it down a bit, and eventually he has to come off entirely to prevent it from getting, way worse. And now he's basically lost, the super physiological amount of tissue he was holding while he was on whatever he was on. So he's lost that muscle, but then he can't go back on cycle to get it back because he knows if he goes back on cycle, he's just gonna rape his hair even worse. And because he's in the limelight, because he's such a big YouTuber, he can't really do anything about it unless he opens up and tells people exactly what he's doing. So if he gets a hair transplant, people are gonna know. If he goes back on cycle, people are gonna know. It's just like, unless he goes MIA forever and just comes back with a perfect hairline, I don't see how he's going to get his way out of it without, people critiquing him and imposing judgment on him, which is what I'm doing right now technically. But I'm not hating on the guy, or I don't think what he does is bad necessarily, unless he claims natural. I'm not sure if he does or not. He might, but if he does, that's not so good, because I think it's pretty obvious that maybe it wasn't obvious when he actually was on cycle, but now it's pretty obvious when he's off what he can no longer hold on to or achieve with that lack of hormone support in the system. So, if Connor ends up seeing this video, I advise you to check out hair loss prevention forums. There is a ton of free information out there that you can look up in regards to how to, defend and protect yourself from this condition worsening. I guess it's not a condition, but it's kind of just like a genetic crappy thing that happens to some people that are predisposed to it, and he just so happens to be one of those individuals, and it's gotten to the point where he can't hide it anymore, unfortunately. I feel like a lot of guys, they just accept their fate and just like assume I'm screwed, but it's not always the case. And Connor's situation in particular, I think he could benefit from doing a bit of research and getting on a hair loss prevention regimen ASAP. And that's just my 2 cents on the situation, because I feel like he's in a really crappy predicament right now, and he can't really, there's no way out realistically, and weaseling around all these excuses like, the lighting's shitty. Like, obviously if you go get a pump and go under good lighting, it makes a big difference. But I mean, in his situation in particular, it's just the amount of tissue he's lost. You can't blame that on lighting, and you can't blame that on, anything realistically except for what it is. And I think coupled.
那么大家觉得康纳尔维度变小的真正原因是什么？请在评论区留言发表你的看法。本期视频就到这里了，欢迎大家点赞、订阅及转发。下期视频里，我会和大家探讨 Connor 最近精神错乱的原因。我们下期视频见。
Why? What happened to me? It wasn't in my control. I'm so embarrassed. I feel so bad for my family. I'm sure they're so embarrassed by me. My friends, they're worried about me. You guys were right, okay? I'm going crazy. I am. I get it. I need help,